Hello everyone, my name is Adrienne Dunham and I am the Interim Director of Educational Technology and Curricular Innovation at CT State. Today, we're going to be focusing on the technical badging demonstration. It is a series of 5, and the first category we're going to begin with is the course design and management category. To begin, we're going to start out by making several assumptions. One is that we've already logged in to Blackboard via the My CT State portal. Once you're in Blackboard, you should see courses listed. When it becomes time for you to actually complete your own badging demonstration, you will see a course that has been created just for that purpose. The course that I'm working with today is called CT State Badging Demonstration Video. And so I have clicked on the little star to add this particular course to my favorites. So this is where I will see it in my list. Yours may be listed elsewhere on your courses page, but I am going to go ahead and navigate into this CT State Badging Demonstration Video course. A few other things to keep in mind is that this course that has been created for you will contain several items that you will need to use throughout the badging process. And I will make note of those as we continue on. But we are going to begin, and the very first item on the task list begins with the course menu. We are being asked to add the syllabus content area to the course menu. So in order to add anything to my course menu, we need to look at the course menu, and in the upper left-hand corner, we are going to click on that little plus sign, and in this particular case, we're going to choose Content Area. We're going to label it Syllabus. We are going to make sure that we check off Available to Users, and we are going to click Submit. One assumption that I have made is that the edit mode is on. If it was not, I would not have seen these options on the upper right-hand corner of my course menu. I will turn the edit mode off for a moment to show you what that looks like. So I would not have seen that plus sign. But with the edit mode on, I do see that plus sign, and I was able to begin right away. If for some reason you don't see that, please check to be sure that your edit mode is on. The very next item in the task list is to add tool links. We're going to be adding 2 tool links today. The first one is going to be My Grades, and the second one is going to be Journals. In Blackboard, however, we have to do these separately. We can't do them both at the same time. So again, to add anything to my course menu, I click on that plus sign. And in this particular case, I want to add a tool link. So I'm going to choose Tool Link. And the first tool I'm going to add is the My Grades tool. I usually recommend choosing the type of tool first, because you'll notice the very first tool listed is this academic materials tool. It's alphabetical. So if you simply type the name My Grades into this name field and forget to choose the type of tool that you're adding, it will default to this very first tool, which is academic materials. And then your students will essentially see a link with the label My Grades, but it will be taking them to a completely different tool. So I like to get everyone into the habit of selecting that type of tool first. So in this case, I'm going to use the drop down and select My Grades. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to name it My Grades. I'm going to make it available to users, and I am going to click Submit. I'm going to do the very same thing for this next tool, which is Journals. So I'm going to click on that plus sign, choose Tool Link again. The type of tool, I'm going to use that drop down and choose Journals. I'm going to label it Journals. I'm going to check off Available to Users, and I'm going to click Submit. The very next item on our task list is to move the syllabus below Announcements and My Grades above Email. Now again, these are sort of 2 tasks that are in one, but we have to do them separately. So first, I'm going to move the syllabus tool above Announcements. And to move anything in our course menu, we want to hover over the left-hand side of these labels. When we see that four-sided arrow, we can click and we can drag. Once that item is sort of in the location that you want it to be, in this case below announcements, you'll notice that gray bar, it moves as I drag these items. Once it's in the location that I want, I can let go. The next item I have to move is the My Grades tool, and I need to move that above the email tool. An alternative method for moving items in Blackboard is to use this up and down arrow. It's located in the upper right-hand corner of our course menu. When you hover over it, it says Keyboard Accessible Reordering Menu Items. You can click on that and you can choose the item that you want to move, and you can use these arrows up or down to move them to a different location in that course menu. Once you're done, you can click Submit, and that item will be moved to the location that you chose. The very next item on the task list is to hide the journal's tool link. So I'm going to click on the little action link or contextual menu to the right of the journal tool in my course menu, and I am going to choose Hide Link. Once I've done that, you'll see I get a purple status bar at the top of my screen. It says that the item has been added to the course menu. In this case, it was hiding that item. Next, we are going to rename the discussion to Discussion Board. So next to my Discussions tool link, I'm going to click on that action link or contextual menu, and I am going to choose the Rename Link option. I'm going to rename that to Discussion Board, and you'll notice I have a little red X or a green check mark. The red X will cancel. The green check mark will save. So I'm going to choose the green check mark to save my changes. And the last little item in that section of tasks is to delete the journal's tooling. So previously we hit it. Now we are going to delete it. So again, we're going to click on that action link or contextual menu to the right of the journal's tool. And this time we're going to choose delete. I have a message that pops up and says, are you sure you want to delete this? I'm going to choose delete this menu item. And one more time, the action will permanently delete the journal's content area, delete or cancel. In this case, I'm going to select delete. I have my purple status bar at the top that tells me success journals is deleted from the course menu. And that completes that first little section of tasks in the course design and management area. Next, we're going to be moving on to content areas. And before we navigate to the course content area, the very first item in this section is to upload a syllabus file to the syllabus content area. So you will remember previously we added the syllabus content area to our course menu. This is the first content area we're going to be working with. So I'm going to click on syllabus, and we are going to upload a syllabus file to the syllabus content area. So to do that, I see these four options at the top of my page. The option I'm going to focus on is the build content option. And when I hover over that, I can simply choose file. And I always recommend having 2, 3, maybe 4 files ready to work with when you're ready to do your own badging demonstration. The first file you'll need to upload is this syllabus file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Browse Local Files, and I am going to navigate to the location on my computer that I have stored a few files to work with today. You'll notice I have a master syllabus blank file. I'm simply going to choose that. I'm going to type in the name syllabus. I'm not being asked to do anything else here, so I can simply scroll all the way down to the bottom right and click submit. I get my purple status bar at the top of the page that tells me my syllabus has been created. I do see that syllabus located here on the screen, and I can move on to the next task. The next task asks us to add 2 content folders to the course content area. So now I know that I need to navigate to my course content area. So I'm simply going to click on course content from my course menu. That brings me to this course content area, which is currently empty. And what we are being asked to do is to create 2 content folders named Unit 1 and Unit 2. So again, from this build content option, I am going to come over here to the sort of right-hand side of this list, and I am going to choose content folder. I'm going to name the first folder Unit 1, and I have to do these separately. So I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom right and choose Submit. And I'm going to do the same thing. And this time I'm going to create a Unit 2 content folder. So again, I hover over that Build Content option, come over here to the right where it says Content Folder. I'm going to label it Unit 2, scroll down to the bottom right, and hit Submit. Next, I'm being asked to reorder these content folders. Now, similar to how we reordered our course menu, we hover over these items until we see that 4-sided arrow, and we click and we drag. We can let go when it's in the place that we want it to be dropped, or alternatively, we can use that keyboard accessible reordering option, which is located in the upper right-hand side of your screen. It is a grayed out up and down arrow. When you click on that, you can select the item you want to move and choose up or down using the arrows and submit when it's in the location that you desire. Next, we are going to add an item with an attached file to the Unit 1 folder. So I know that I need to navigate to my Unit 1 folder, click on that Unit 1 folder. Now I'm inside of that Unit 1 folder and I'm being asked to add an item. You'll note that item is underlined on the task list. That is what we want to add. So we are going to hover over this Build Content option and choose Item. I'm going to label it Item just because I like to sort of keep things organized and I'm going to need this a little bit later. So I'm labeling it Item and I'm asked to add an item with an attached file. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit to where I see attached files, choose this Browse Local Files option, which brings up the location on my computer that I have saved several files to work with. And so I'm going to upload this file called iTeach Cert Competency Badge Demo Tasks. I'm going to click Open. You'll notice that this file is now located underneath where it says Attached Files. If you accidentally choose a file that you didn't intend to attach, you can certainly choose Do Not Attach. And you can go back and browse for the file that you would like to attach. But in this case, I have attached the correct file. So I'm simply going to scroll all the way down to the bottom right and choose Submit. There is my item and I can see my attached file. Next, I am being asked to add a different file to both my Unit 1 and Unit 2 folders. I need to do these separately. I can't do them all at once. So I'm going to begin in my Unit 1 folder. I'm going to choose Build Content. And this time you'll notice it says add a different file, and file is underlined. So now I know that I need to add a file. So I'm going to give it a name. I'm actually going to choose Browse Local Files first. Select the file that I want to add. In this case, it's the backwards assigned worksheet. I'm going to click Open, and then I'm going to give it a name. And I'm just going to put File in parentheses so that I know that's how I added this item. You wouldn't necessarily have to do this in a live course, but for the badging demonstration, it helps me identify which item I'm adding as an item and which is a file. So I am going to simply scroll all the way down to the bottom right, and I'm going to click Submit. There's my file. Now, part of that same task is to add a different file to both Unit 1 and Unit 2 folders. So this was my Unit 1 folder. I added the file. Now I need to navigate to my Unit 2 folder and add a file. So to do that, I can do one of two things. I can come up here to my breadcrumbs and go back to course content, or I can use my course menu and click on course content and then navigate into my Unit 2 folder. From this Unit 2 folder, I will essentially do the same thing. Hover over Build Content, choose File, browse my local files, and I'm going to add a different file to this Unit 2 folder. So I'm going to choose the Backward Design Worksheet A Denim PDF file this time. And I'm going to label this Backward Design Worksheet AD. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom right and choose Submit. I have my purple status bar at the top that tells me my BDWAD file has been created. And now I am being asked to check the document accessibility level using the Ally Meter. Now the Ally Meter might be new to some of you. What I usually suggest is going back to the syllabus content area. The reason why I suggest this is because typically the files have been processed at this point. You'll notice in this example, we see a gauge right here. Next to this syllabus file, it's green, and when I hover over it, it says accessibility score high, select to improve. So if I click on that, this screen appears, which tells me I have an accessibility score for this file of 98%. But it does tell me that this PDF does not have a title. And the task list asks us to navigate to the instructions that demonstrate what needs to be fixed. That is this option right here, how to add a title. So if your file that you're reviewing the accessibility score of is anything less than 100%, you're going to see something that tells you how to XYZ, how to do whatever it is that isn't quite accessible yet. Sometimes that may include going back to the original document, which in this case would likely be a Word file, adding a title, and then saving it again as a PDF and then re-uploading it into Blackboard. In some instances, you can make the corrections right inside of Blackboard, but more often than not, you'll need to go back to the original file. So for this task, simply click on the How To, do whatever it is that Ally is telling you needs to be done, and then you can simply X out. We don't actually need you to fix it. We just need you to know how to access the how-to so that you can go back and fix it in the future. You can simply X out of this screen once you're done with that portion of this task. The next portion of this task is to demonstrate how to access the alternative formats for downloading documents with Ally. And that is this icon to the right of that syllabus file that says alternative formats. We need you to click on that and just simply review the options. You don't need to choose one and actually download it. You simply need to know that this is how your students would access an alternative format of that file. And Ally does this all for you automatically. It can convert your file into an HTML, an EPUB, electronic braille, an audio, a Beeline reader, or an immersive reader file. And that's all done for you through this application. You don't need to do anything. After you've done that, you can simply X out of that screen and you are done with that part of the task. Next, we are being asked to move the item in the Unit 1 folder to the Unit 2 folder. Now you may have to navigate back into your Unit 1 folder, and to do that you would simply click on the course content area from your course menu or your breadcrumbs and then click into your Unit 1 folder. Now that I'm in my Unit 1 folder, I see these two items and it's asking me to move the item in Unit 1 folder to the Unit 2 folder. So I'm simply going to use this action link or contextual menu to the right of that item. It is named item. So I click on that action link or contextual menu and I choose move. The destination course will remain the same. However, my destination folder is where I need to click browse. And I am going to choose the Unit 2 folder. That is where I want this item to be moved to. I can simply scroll down to the bottom right and choose Submit. and it moves my file. I get that purple status bar at the top that tells me my item has been moved, and it is no longer visible inside of this Unit 1 folder. Next, I'm going to copy a file from one folder to the other. So since I'm in the Unit 1 folder, I'm simply going to stay here and I'm going to copy this file from the Unit 1 folder to the Unit 2 folder. So again, I'm going to click on the action link or contextual menu to the right of this file. And this time, instead of choosing move, I'm going to choose copy. For the destination folder this time, I'm going to choose browse and I'm going to choose Unit 2 and I'm going to click submit. Now you don't need to do this, but I'm just going to show you by navigating to my course content folder inside of the Unit 2 folder. You will see both the item and that file have been moved and copied to this location. And the very last thing I need to do to complete this first technical badge is to enter my student preview. So on the upper right hand side of the page, you will see this arrow to the left and this arrow to the right with a circle in the middle. It kind of looks like an eyeball. If you hover over it, it says enter student preview. That is what you want to click on. I get this big orange bar at the top of my screen that says student preview mode is on. And what I need to do is click on settings in this orange bar. I am going to make sure that my settings are set so that it does not ask me about the preview user again. And I want to keep the preview user and all of the data. Once those two options are selected, you can click save. Once you're done, you can exit the student preview, and that concludes this technical badge, the course design and management section.